Hey everybody, welcome to Yummy Eats and Boozy Drinks. This is the first episode on YouTube, and I want to thank each and every one of y'all for subscribing, watching my videos, and liking and sharing. Well, today we're going to end up making flautas from scratch. First things first, always got to make sure you wash your hands, right? Before you anytime start cooking, you always want to make sure you disinfect your hands. That way you're ready to go. Hey guys, I just got done washing my hands. So now we're going to go over the seasonings that we're going to use for the flautas. First, we're going to use salt, pepper, garlic powder, garlic salt, onion powder, and chicken bouillon. All right guys, so after these seasonings, the next items that we're going to be using in order to make these flautas, we're going to have corn tortillas. We're going to use toothpicks in order to make sure that the form of the flauta stays together. We're going to use, and this is up to your tasting, you can use canola oil, vegetable oil, peanut oil, whatever oil you prefer to fry in. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to need for the flautas is going to be our salsa. You can't have flautas without the salsa. Ingredients for the salsa are going to be tomatoes, jalapeños, onions, serrano peppers, and garlic cloves. All right guys, the last two things that we're going to need in order to finalize these flautas, we're going to be using queso fresco, and if you don't want queso fresco, you can always use mozzarella cheese or whatever cheese you prefer to put on top. We're also going to be using sour cream or crema mexicana. We are also going to add lettuce and tomatoes on top of the flautas. All right guys, let's get started with these flautas. So let's get a pot, let's add water, let's bring the water to a boil. Once we bring the water to a boil, let's go ahead and add the chicken breast in the water. Once we add the chicken breast to the water, let's give it about 10 to 15 minutes. After about 15 minutes, the chicken breast should break down. That way it's going to be easier for you to shred. Alright guys, once this chicken breast is ready, let's go ahead and take it out of the pot. Let's go ahead and put it in another container. Let it sit for a couple minutes, that way it's not burning hot when you're shredding the chicken, if you know what I mean. All right guys, once we finish shredding the chicken, let's go ahead and start seasoning the chicken. So we want to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top, just enough salt so that way we have some sort of flavor when we're actually making the flautas. Sprinkle a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of onion powder, garlic powder, garlic salt, and chicken bouillon. Mix it together well. All right guys, now that the chicken is ready to go, let's go ahead and add our corn tortillas. So with the corn tortilla, I'm going to give you a pro tip. We want to make sure that when we roll these tortillas, they don't break apart on us when we're rolling. So what we want to do, we want to add a couple tortillas with a little bit of water in a Ziploc bag. Add them to the microwave for about 30 seconds. Once you take them out, these tortillas are going to be ready to go, so that way we can fold. All right guys, now that the tortilla is ready, the chicken is ready, let's start making flautas. So you're going to want to put a little bit of chicken in the tortilla. You're going to roll it, and then you're going to add 2 toothpicks to each side. These toothpicks are going to hold the form, so that way when you put it in the skillet in order to fry, they're going to stay in place. All right guys, now that the flautas are on the actual skillet, I got the oil, I got it up to 350 degrees. This way we want to make sure that the flautas comes out golden brown. So just make sure you keep an eye on the flautas, that way they don't burn. All right guys, check this out. These flautas are looking amazing right now. I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty hungry right now. All right guys, we're not done yet. We got to finalize the salsa, because like I said, you can't have flautas without the salsa. So on a cast iron skillet, which what we call it is the comal, we're going to add the jalapeños, the serrano pepper, the onion, and tomatoes. Once we add the jalapeños, tomatoes, serrano peppers, and onions, we want to let it char on both sides. That way, once we add it to the actual blender, before we add it, we want to make sure it simmers in its juices. That way we get all that flavor, and it's going to be so great. Now that the salsa is seasoned, let's go ahead and start the blender. The salsa is starting to look amazing, and the form is just great. I can't wait to actually be able to put this on these flautas. All right, guys, now that the flautas are ready and the salsa is ready, let's go ahead and do the last final steps. Let's go ahead and shred some lettuce, slice some tomatoes, and go ahead and break up a piece of your queso fresco. We have our Mexican crema, and we're just gonna put that to the side right now. That one's just gonna be something that we drizzle on top. Now that the lettuce is cut, tomatoes are sliced, queso fresco is broken up, we're ready to start building these flautas. Let's get a plate ready and let's start making this happen. Let's go ahead and start putting 3 flautas on the plate. Once we put the flautas, the next thing you want to add is going to be the shredded lettuce on top. Once the shredded lettuce is on top, you're going to put your sliced tomatoes. Once you add the sliced tomatoes, I like to go ahead and drizzle some of that beautiful salsa that we just made. Once we finish drizzling the salsa on top, now the cheese. You can never have enough cheese. So definitely up to your standards on how much cheese you want. I love cheese, so we're gonna put a good portion of cheese on top. Let's go ahead and drizzle that Mexican crema on top. Now we are ready to taste. I know it felt like it took a long time, but we finally made it to the finish line. Now we can actually sit down and take a bite and just enjoy all the flavors that we just incorporated into these flautas. The only issue that you're going to have with these flautas is once you make them for everybody, they're going to continue to keep asking you to make them every single time. They're a game changer. They're so easy to make. Another thing that I wanted to share with y'all, this whole meal is going to feed 5 of us. And guess what? This whole meal came out to a cost of under $25. Now that we have tried these amazing flautas, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning into my channel. Always make sure to like, subscribe, share, let your family members know, let your friends know. It helps me build my channel. This is the first episode for Yummy Eats and Boozy Drinks, and I definitely look forward to episode number 2 with each and every one of you. Thank y'all very much. Have a good one.